Dress here from Fair Realty. I'm making yet another YouTube video about the Home Protection Office Owner Builder Exam. Why am I making another video? The emails are really pouring in from pissed off BC residents about this exam. A few people have indicated they want to start a class action lawsuit against the HPO office. I'll get into that in a few minutes. But last night, as I was driving home to my owner-built home, guess what? I haven't had a single problem with this home, even though in 2 years I'd applied for the HPO letter, this exam wasn't required. I remember paying $425 to the HPO office. I got a piece of paper. There was no follow-up after that from the HPO. No one came to take a look at the house. There was no surveys that I was sent in terms of assessing what type of materials I used in the house and the construction quality. So begs the question, how did this exam come about if there was zero data being collected on owner-builder homes? I bet if you actually did a proper study that would show that owner-builder homes on average are better built than contractor-built homes because people are building it for themselves and their families. I spent a lot of money on this home and things that are inside the walls, various upgrades, because I knew I would be here for a long time. A contractor, he or she, guess what they're doing? They're building as cheaply as possible that meets code. They're not going above code, and they're trying to sell for the most amount of money as possible to maximize their profits. Common sense tells me owner-builder homes are going to have less problems. Anyway, as I'm driving home last night, I came up with a really good analogy to this exam. So I'm a realtor. That's my profession. In Victoria, the average house costs around $700,000. So let's say you want to sell your average house in Victoria. The real estate commission to hire a real estate professional such as me, let's give or take about $25,000. Imagine that if the government came out and said, you know, your personal home, it's a huge asset. We want to protect you as the seller and we want to protect the consumer. So you can only sell your home with a real estate professional, or you have to write an exam to make sure that you know as much as a real estate professional does. Give me a break. There'd be riots. The next party or the current government would be definitely voted out because people would not be cool with that, because a lot of people do try to sell their home privately to maximize the savings. It only makes sense. I live a pretty luxurious lifestyle in a huge house. I'm 110% for people being able to sell their own home, not have to hire me, and save that $25,000. It's a fundamental right. When it comes to owner building homes in this exam, it's the exact same thing. I can't go out and at this point, within reason, owner build a home because of this exam. And I'm owner building for me and my family. I'm not building for profit, etc. Why isn't there a public outrage in the media? Because a very small percentage of the population owner build their home. So not a lot of people know what's going on. It's not out in the media. As I said, if it was an analogy to selling your home, there would be public outrage out there. Now to the class action lawsuit. A couple of people have emailed me about proposing it. People feel the process is unfair to start. So the Home Protection Office has come out and said that this exam is not only to protect the consumer, it's also to protect the owner builder by making them aware of how complicated it is to build a house, etc. But they won't let you apply for the exam until you've bought the lot. So you got to spend $500,000 on a patch of land, and then the Home Protection Office is going to tell you that it's complicated to build a home. Doesn't really make sense. A lot of other people are really pissed off because there's not a good resource for pre-test study material. A million other points. I don't want to make this a 10-minute video. People that have written the exam are also extremely pissed off at the format of the exam and the line of questioning. So people have emailed me, 30 questions that they had in the exam, which are total nonsense. Like one guy emailed me, for example, strength of concrete. So he says on the question, there's a question on the exam about the strength of concrete. The minimum code is 15, I forget the exact metrics, but the problem is most companies in Victoria won't sell a concentration below 20. So if you answer 20, which is actually the minimum strength you can buy in Victoria, BC from a company, you're actually wrong because the code, the minimum is 15. Makes no sense, because if in reality you're building a home, why would that be important? The people mixing the concrete would know that information, and they're mixing the concrete at 5 levels above the minimum code. Really, really dumb question. So he was really thrown off by it because he knew the code was 15, but the minimum you can buy is 20. There's questions about concrete expansion joints, calculating insulation values, but they don't give you a calculator into the exam. Some of the questions I've been emailed that people have had to write are just complete nonsense. It's like people at the HPO office never have gone to a construction site. That's what it makes it seem like. And finally, I'll just finish it off with exams. I personally have a master's degree from the University of British Columbia, which is a very reputable school. During the course of my academic career, I literally wrote hundreds of exams. This is how much I learned in university. This much. This is how much I've learned in real life. The HPO office is trying to apply an exam to practical real life experiences, which can't be done. The only thing this exam is going to do is people are going to buy properties, then they're going to figure out there is an exam. There's been reports that it's taking as long as 2 months to set an exam date in certain locations. So now they're stuck waiting an extra 2 months while they're paying a mortgage on that land, waiting to write some BS exam. It's not going to improve the quality of the home. It's not going to protect the consumer. The only person or individuals this exam benefits is large, rich contractors. So because of this exam, some people are going to fail it. Some people are not going to be confident enough to write it. They're going to have to go out and hire a contractor. I did my own owner builder on this home. I saved about $100,000 not having to pay a contractor. I think if someone wants to go sell a house, they should be able to bypass me as a realtor and save $25,000, $30,000. I think I deserve the same rate when it comes to building a home and bypassing the contractor. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for today. Marco Duras, Fair Realty.